Hello, let's paint a flower box or a window box, something like this. This one has 3 columns, but I am just going to draw 2 columns, so it's easier and faster. So this color that I'm using here is Indian red. If you don't have Indian red, uh, take some burnt sienna and mix some red to get this kind of a color. Then this one is a mixture of Prussian blue and emerald green to give some kind of a turquoise blue teal color. And then this one, I'm using ochre yellow and burnt umber to get this kind of a color. Then I'm going to use red, purple, white gouache, green, which is sap green, olive green, and any other green that you have. And this is Payne's gray. All right, so let's get started. So I have lightly sketched it, but because you can't see, I'm going to redraw it a little darker. But when you draw or when you paint, make sure your drawing is light. So just going to draw a rectangle first. Show you a close-up once I'm done. And inside I'm drawing a 1/2 centimeter frame for the wooden panel. Use a ruler. Okay. And then in the middle, I'm just going to draw another 1 centimeter frame. And another frame in between horizontally. And then I'm going to divide each square into 4 smaller squares like this. So this is how my painting looks right now. And then this box, I'm just going to draw a straight line first. Just a little shorter, or just to match the inner frame. And then I'm going to draw another line, slightly shorter, parallel to the top line. Okay. And then something like a V on both sides. Okay, so now this line here is parallel to this line. So I'm just going to draw a parallel line. And then join this and this to get the box or the window box. Okay. And then join this to complete the box. And to draw the hook or the holder that's going to hold, I'm just going to draw two parallel lines and then just like a Y. Okay. All right, so this is the painting. The flowers I'm just going to paint directly. I'm not going to draw everything. So here's a close-up. If you want to take a screenshot of this, you can, and then draw and paint. All right, so let's get started. This is going to be wet on dry. So I'm going to take some Indian red. And paint the outside wall. Okay. To make it easier to paint, you can move your paper to the side. Now that I have finished painting closer to the frame, now I can just fill the rest of the color. If you're painting with a watercolor paper that's not on a block, make sure you tape on all four sides so the paper does not warp. Okay. So the outside wall is ready. I've painted it. So now let's dry this first before you start painting the frame of the window. All right, I will be back in a minute. This is how it looks. I'll be back in a minute after drying. All right, now the paper is dry. I mixed my teal or turquoise blue color with Prussian blue and emerald green, slightly thicker consistency. Make sure you have enough color so you can paint the entire frame. And I'm using a smaller brush so I can get a better control. I'll paint the entire frame. I'll paint this frame and come back in okay, I painted the frame. Now I have to paint the center. Try and paint it as straight as you are able to. I can't paint straight, but I am doing my best. Okay. Let's see if I can paint this. All right, this is the closest that I can get to. Now let's dry this before painting the glass, right? I'll dry and be back. All right, to paint the glass, what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of paint spray, very watered down paint spray, and then I'm going to take a little bit of turquoise blue to give that bluish gray shade to the glass. And then actually that's a little too dark, so I'm just gonna water it down and paint the glass just to give that tint. I'm gonna do the same for the rest of the window glass. Okay. Let's do the same for the rest of the windows. All right, I painted the glass with a very light watered down mixture of Payne's gray and the turquoise blue. And now I'm going to paint the flower box. I am going to take a little bit of ochre yellow and some burnt umber. Okay. Make sure the paint is not very wet. I'll paint this small block. Just gonna add slightly darker shade on this side, adding extra additional burnt umber just to give some shadow. I'm going to do the same. On the side, then blend it. All right, now let's paint the hook or the frame that's holding the flower box. Now let's dry everything before we start painting the flowers, all right? Okay, I'm back. Now everything is dry. So let's paint the flowers first. We'll paint red flowers and then a few lavender flowers and fill it up with different shades of green for the leaves, all right? So first I'm taking crimson red, just gonna make dots like this, almost like 5-petal flowers. Don't make it regular in a straight line, just go different directions so it looks random. All right, so those are the flowers first. Next, let's pick some purple. You can pick any shade of purple you want. I'm going to draw a few lavender flowers, which are almost like a triangle shaped flowers. And then again, I'm going to make the flowers in different directions. So it looks random and it does not look like the flowers are in a straight line. Make different shades because the flowers are in different shades. Okay. If you look, these are just like a triangle, dots in a triangle shape. Start thin and then it becomes thicker at the bottom. Okay. You can add a few in between too. Take a smaller brush if you're not able to use a medium-sized brush. All right, now let's paint the leaves. I'm going to use some olive green. If you don't have olive green, you can use sap green and mix a little bit of red or burnt sienna. All I'm doing is just filling the white spaces with some green dots just to indicate leaves. So after you painted olive green, I am going to take a little bit of sap green, again very thick consistency. If you want some leaves falling down from the pot, you can do that. Just using the tip of the brush to create some leaf shape. Okay. Now I'm going to take slightly darker green, some Viridian green, and then mix it with a little bit of Payne's gray to get very dark green. You can add purple too if you want it. And then I'm going to make some dark green leaves. The dark green leaves make the flowers stand out. Just making small leaf shaped strokes. I'm going to fill it up with some more sap green leaves in between, just to add some contrast. Right? You can draw as many leaves as you want. If you want the leaf falling down this way, you can add that. Because these are just like creepers. I think we don't have enough leaves on this side, so let's add some leaves here. Okay. Now, I am going to add few white flowers using white gouache. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But I think it'll just add some more interest. So I am going to take some white and then add, especially where there are very dark leaves, they'll show better, so you can add. Okay, again, don't make it regular, just random. All right, I'll show you in close-up. This is how it looks. All right, now all that we have left is to add some shadows. So for that, let me zoom out so you can see. I'm going to take a very thick consistency of the turquoise blue, and I'm going to add some Payne's Gray to make it dark. Okay. Do this with a very thin brush. I'm just going to outline here to add some shadow so it looks like it's deeper, the frame is deeper. I'm going to do that for this one too. Just a very thin line. I'm going to do that even on the top line here, about this frame here. And maybe to this side here. This just adds some depth, so it does not look like it's a flat frame. It looks like it has some depth. All right, and then I'm going to add some shadow here just to show the shadow of the wooden box or the flower box, because it's protruding outside of the window, so it'll cast a shadow on the wall. So for that, what I'll do is I'm going to take a darker shade of the same Indian red, add some burnt umber, and then I'm going to add some shadow here. Okay. Do you see? It makes it pop. Below the window box or the flower box. You can add the shadow of the leaves also. It'll cast some shadow. Just taking very light, watered down burnt umber just to add some more interest. Okay. All right. If you want to add white lines to the frame inside, you can do that. I'll see if my pen is working. I will use a pen because my lines with a brush won't be straight. So let me see if I can add some white lines. Okay. So this is how the final painting looks. I hope you like it and you will try painting it. Bye.